Hi guys, the Trading Wizard here. Welcome to this new video. In this video I will do a technical analysis on HBAR because you might have heard HBAR partnered with SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, and you all know what can happen when Elon Musk is a fan of a cryptocurrency. Just look at Doge, lots of FOMO, and maybe the same can happen with HBAR. In this video I'm trying to answer the question if HBAR can go flying to space. I'm talking about the price action, guys, but let's see what we can see on the chart. We have here the weekly time frame, and I want to start by annotating some levels. This is a nice point at the listing price, also the starting point of this expansion higher, and we found support here at the origin of this accumulation. Just the same theory we discussed during my previous Dogecoin analysis. I posted that one yesterday. This is an accumulation. The price went flying and we came back to the origin of that accumulation. So that's a really nice point to annotate in the price action. Where do we find resistance? We find resistance right here. And I like to make boxes of the price action. I call that price ranges, price boxes, whatever you want to call it. We can clearly see we have a box, a range right here, a distribution on to the lows, and we have accumulation probably right here. And in between those boxes we have on the lower side, we have also accumulation, and at the top side we have distribution. Also works the same here. On the lows we have accumulation, market makers are accumulating orders, and here at the top we have distribution, so market makers trying to push the price lower. Let's see what is happening. What do we saw here? We saw support, price action started to move higher, making higher highs and higher lows, and we started rejecting right here. This is the top of this price action box right here, and the bottom of this trading box, trading range right here. So this rejection was important because price wasn't strong enough, buyers weren't strong enough, so they needed more fuel, more buying power to push the price up above this level and in this higher price range. What do we saw here? We saw market makers accumulating orders. How do we know this is accumulation? We saw a piece of sideways price action, and just before we started expanding higher, we saw a liquidity hunt below this accumulation. Also, how do we see that? Big volume bars right here, signaling to us market makers have been buying and they push the price up higher. But now we are still rejecting this piece of price action right here, this level right here. If we want to see higher price action, like $0.44, we need to gain this level. We need to gain 14 cents before we can go to 44. Because normally speaking, if we held the lows, we go to the highs. Just like here, we held the low, we go to the high. And that's just typical standard price action, nothing too difficult about that. Let's dive deeper into the daily structure, and this was also the same thing with Doge. We had some price action pushing lower, making lower highs and lower lows. This is our last piece of structure. We have a low, lower high, lower low, and after that we started pushing higher. So the difficult thing is we can expect a higher low anywhere from this low to that high. So I'm trying to be more precise, but just keep in mind a higher low can be anywhere between this low and this high. Let's go to the 4-hour chart, and now we see a nice consolidation taking place. Again, a range demand. What is the origin of this range demand? That is this demand right there. So it's important for us, if we want to take positions, that we look here. I am interested in this 4-hour demand. Really good demand, nice piece of price action right here. We see market makers accumulating, high volume right here, high volume right here, and in between low volume, and that's where market makers accumulated. That's one thing to know. If there is low volume, it's probably market makers accumulating when price action is going sideways. So this is a nice place to look for longs. This is where I am interested. Please do your own research, do your own analysis, and don't take anything from me. Just look for yourself if you agree with me. The main thing we want to do is gain this level, because if we cannot gain that level, it means we go to the lows again. If you cannot gain something, just like here, you need more fuel, buying power, and we go to the lows again. So we want to hold as high as possible. Let's go to the 1 hour, because on the 4 hour this structure is the most important thing. Probably if you are looking for setups, you can also say this is a nice place to look for longs. I agree, but I prefer this one because we have a nice accumulation here, market maker involvement, and a nice push from there. So people will always be interested in buying right here. Let's have a look at the 1 hour chart. What can we see here? One thing which I like is the trend liquidity building up on these highs. How does trend liquidity form? Simply because market makes lower highs really close to each other, so people will go short, put a stop loss here, here, so a lot of liquidity will be laying above these highs. So trend liquidity looks nice. Let's look at some demand zones. This is the main POE, which I like because it gives the price action a bit of room to do the lower highs, build up some trend liquidity, expansion to stop everyone out of their position, and then reverse to try to gain this level. So that's the main point of interest which I'm looking at, and I will try to play that one because there is a lot of trend liquidity. Trend liquidity is one of the best targets you can have while trading, and what I always say to my students is, if you have good targets, you probably have a good trade. If you have bad targets, your trade is also not as good as you would like it to be. Also, we have one more demand zone right here. You can see it, we are holding it. The body tells the story. The body is holding this demand zone. The wicks do the damage, stopping out everyone who is presetting demand zones. And most of the people learn you to do this. Just do an entry above the demand zone, on top of it, and put your stop loss below the wick. So everyone who did this is now stopped out. But this is a place where I don't really like to take orders. Why? You have a support resistance zone right here. You clearly can see it, we turned it into resistance after it was support, and we have a supply zone. So when you take trades, you almost need to take immediate TPs because these are potential rejection zones to take us to this 1 hour zone or potentially to the 4 hour zone below. So I'm not a huge fan of this zone. It is possible. So let's have a look at the 15-minute chart. If I would be interested in taking positions right here, I'm waiting for a solid gain above this supply and for a retest so I can take a position, but you can clearly see it, immediate TP right here on this supply, and also this is a strong zone which I also need to take a TP. So it's not as high probability as I would like my trade, so I will be skipping this one probably. I don't like the price action right here. I will have a look at the 1 hour zone below or to the 4 hour zone, which is a really nice range, really nice accumulation. But keep in mind, we are searching for a higher low with the sole purpose of gaining the high time frame price range, retesting it and going even higher. How does it look? It looks like this, because what do we want to do? We want to gain this range again. We want to make a retest and go to the high of that range. This was the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, find it very informative. Let me know in the comments what you think about HBAR. Can it go to the moon, or do you think it won't go to the moon at all? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you till the next one. Ciao.